Hey everyone, today I would like us to take a look at market crashing and see if it's really worth it. We will be researching this both on normal and permanent, as these are the perfect benchmarks to see how profitable this truly is. Before we jump into this, I am aware of the debate there is concerning market crashing, and both sides of the coin have their own opinions. For me, this is a study of the facts to come to an objective opinion and a way to share this with you. What you do with this information is up to you, and I will not judge you for it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get on with it. What is market crashing? A market exists out of supply and demand. If the demand of a product is higher than what can be supplied, the price for that product will be higher than its actual value. In case this is reversed and the supply is higher than the market's demand, the price for the product will drop lower. Depending on that balance, that price can go really low. Market crashing is overflowing the market with so much supply of a product that demand is exceeded. This results in the price for that product dropping so much below its value that you can buy it all back at a cheap rate and make hell of a profit. So let us put this theory to practice and jump into the nearby space station. For the purpose of this video, I have made a backup save in normal and cleared out my units and other currency so we can see how much we are actually making using this technique. Before we do some testing, have a look at the current status of our market here. Currently, the demand for cobalt in this system is 0.4% and the price for buying one unit is 248 EU. However, when we go into the selling menu, you will see with the same percentage of demand, the price for one unit of cobalt is 198 EU. This means, in the current status of this market, that if you would sell one piece of cobalt in this system, you would get 198 EU. But when you buy it back, the price for that would be 248 EU. So you would lose 50 EU on that piece. So we need to sell way more of our cobalt to affect the market demand. So let's begin with selling 10,000 cobalt to the market at 190 EU per piece. Now, if we would return to our buying page, you will notice the market demand has dropped to minus 9.6, which results in a price drop from 248 to 223. Still, we sold our cobalt at a price of 198, which means buying back our cobalt at 223 would not be a smart move. So let us reload and try to sell a bit more of our supply. This time, we will sell 20,000 cobalt and see how that affects the market. Just to be clear, we are back at the 0.4% demand at a selling price of 198 EU and a purchase price of 248 EU. So let us sell our 20,000 cobalt. Going back to our buying page, the demand has now drastically dropped to minus 19.7. And would you look at that? The price just dropped to 198 EU, the same price we just sold our cobalt for. So that means, to make any profit of this, we need to sell more than 20,000 cobalt to affect the market. Therefore, let us sell 30,000 of our product now and see how that influences the market. Doing so, we can now see that demand has dropped 29.7, which changes the purchase price in our favor, which is 173 per piece. So now we are paying less for the cobalt than we actually sold it for. We successfully crashed the market. But I did have a nice collection of cobalt in my storage. I actually had 70,000 cobalt. So let us reload again and sell all of it in this system. Once again, we are back at the normal rates of this system, 248 buying and 198 selling price. So time to crash this market completely. By selling all our cobalt, we just pushed the demand of this market to minus 70%. And would you look at that, we can buy our cobalt back at the price of 74 EU per piece. Apart from that, we can also buy the whole stock of this system, which is 3,450 higher than we had in our starship. And with that all in our storage now, we already have 8.4 million in profit. With this market crashed, our work is almost done. If you have some pilots in the hangar here, you can buy their cobalt as well at the same crashed market price. Once all the cobalt has been bought, it is time to move to another system. In this system, the demand is -2% and the buying price would be 242. So let us sell all our cobalt and see how the market behaves. And our market just crashed hard. And we are buying our cobalt back at -80% of the actual value. Make note that the -80% of market crashing is the maximum you can drop a market at. I will do this technique 5 times in total, just to see how much profit we can make in a short amount of time. As this is the 5th and last jump for this test, let us now purchase back the exact amount of cobalt we started with, which was 70,000. With all the cobalt back in our exosuit we started with, we can now look at the profit we just made in less than half an hour. 75 million of units in normal by market crashing. But does this work as well in permanent? Let us jump over to my prepared save and let's find out. The first thing we should check is, does the market crash the same way as it does in normal? So let us sell 20,000 cobalt in this system, as we know that is the tipping point for crashing a market. The demand in this system is 1.7 and the price per piece is currently 201 U. So let us sell out 20,000 cobalt. The demand has now dropped to -18.6 and the price for our cobalt is 201 U per piece. This means market crashing works the same in permanent as it does in normal. So if you would sell, let's say, 70,000 cobalt to this system, we would make as much money as quickly as we do in normal. But wait, there is a little problem. Permadeath does not have the excessive storage possibilities as normal. Each slot in an exosuit has space for 250 units, and the cargo has space for 500. And the same goes for a fully slotted starship. That means the maximum I could ever hold is 60,000 over all these storage slots. Also, you cannot sell from all these slots at once. You either sell from your exosuit or your starship. That means, exosuit having the most space, we can only sell 36,000 at one time. So let us reload the game and see how this works. Once again, we have the same demand here of 1.7%, and take notice that I also have no units in my wallet, so it's easier to figure out the profit. Once we sell our cobalt, we have now a demand of -35%, which results in a slight drop of price when buying it back. Now, while I do have enough units to buy the whole stack, I do not have enough inventory, so I will have to reduce the units to exactly 36,000 so it fits into my exosuit. Currently, we have made a profit of 1.4 million on that stack, which is not half bad. The remaining cobalt we can still buy, of course, but we will have to transfer it to our starship. So let us move to another system and repeat the process. Once again, we will do this 5 times and we can see then how successful this run is. Once again, our inventory is too limiting, so we need to reduce the items in the shop, and then the rest we can transfer to our starship. So you probably start to understand that the limiting inventory does not really help us towards making quick money, and that permanent might not be the ideal game mode for this technique. Apart from that, if you regularly plan on crashing the market, you probably will have to have cobalt ready for you to use instead of mining it all the time. So either you sacrifice some storage containers and a fully slotted starship, or you have a cobalt mine that provides you with that starter capital. In the end, you will need to have all your slots free in both the exosuit and the cargo to be able to make a dent in the market. For the last run, we will only sell the extra cobalt that is our starship. With that sold, we can now see how much profit we made in 30 minutes, which is roughly 9 million units. This took us half an hour of our game time. In comparison, the same amount of activated indium, 36,000, would have given you 34 million units. Consequently, comparing this with your normal save, the same amount of activated indium, which was 70,000, would have given you roughly 66 million. Comparing this with half an hour of work and having a profit of 75 million, I am wondering if it's truly worth it. With a bit of planning, I can easily build an AI farm that will give me a daily return of 240,000 AI every 24 hours. That translates in 230 million per day. Now, with that being said, if I would have started with 240k cobalt, my profit would have been 250 million roughly after 45 minutes. There are, of course, other ways to make money in No Man's Sky. Today we looked into market crashing and how viable this technique is. I hope this was informative to you and it gave you an idea of how it works and what earnings you can expect. If you would like to learn how to build an activated indium farm, check out the video showing on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. This was Bibelbum. Goodbye for now.